If you love $9 Monday and $2 Tuesday, you're really going to appreciate our new Throwback Thursday when all daily packages are slashed in half. Yes, you heard right at both wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com. All Thursday daily packages are now 50% off. This means that a 4% package will be only $12.50. A 5% top-rated play, normally priced at $35, will be only $17.50. And the hottest sales item of the day, get a full day of access from the handicappers of your choice. That's one day of every applicable play they release, including any 5% best bets normally priced at $39 for only $19.50. The best part is you can come back every Thursday to take advantage of this limited time 50% off spring off.
Hey guys, welcome into Wager Talk TV. This is Puck Time. I am Andrew. I have Carmine with me, and of course, Don Buster with us here in his usual Tuesday spot. We're looking forward to breaking down 4 NHL games for you guys, best bets at the end, and of course, some great promotional stuff as well to get into. Today, we are talking Predators, Bruins, Lightning, Hurricanes, Kings visiting the Flames, and the nightcap with the Oilers in Sin City taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. Carm, we both have 5% plays going today. We also have that great special going, the buy one, get one playoff package. Guys, make sure you grab that. A lot of you guys have already grabbed it yesterday, but you're going to get 3 weeks for free of the regular season. And the sooner you get that, the sooner you'll be able to get the most plays possible. So grab the 5% plays, but we really do recommend grabbing that playoff package because you will get the rest of the regular season. But Carm, I'll bring you in. It wasn't a massive slate last night, but I thought it was a pretty good one. What were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, first of all, I didn't even know you had a 5% play going in NHL tonight, so I wish you the best of luck. If you guys are all out there, just plug up your ears. So, Andrew, what's the 5% play? Tell me. Okay, forget it. Tell me after the show. Listen, not a massive slate yesterday, but some very entertaining games. That Sabres Montreal game, we found out which Sabres team showed up. We talked about that, which Sabres team shows up. The Canadians showed some fight in that game, and then it goes to a very long shootout where riding the stick, man. I love that, riding the stick when you score a goal. I can't remember who invented that or who was the first guy who actually did that. We've seen it before. I think Ty Domi might have done that once as well too. The Florida Panthers are the Florida Panthers. They go down to Ottawa in a game that they needed to win, and of course they lose. This team just doesn't look like a team that's going to make the playoffs. And with that said, they'll probably go into Toronto and beat Toronto and prove me wrong. But the other games, Andrew, it wasn't a play for my clients, but it was a game that I bet on because I talked about it on the show. And I literally threw up in my mouth twice. The end of that New York Islanders, New Jersey game, I had under 6, two empty net goals on a game that was a dead under. The whole game, dead under. They get 2 empty net goals, one with 0.6 seconds left to push that total. The Minnesota one, I like the under if it was Gustav's in the net. It was Fleury in net. I said I would probably flip to the over if it's Fleury in net. It still lands right on 6, so it's a push either way. And then the other games, the Oilers did what I thought the Oilers would do, although they'd never make it easy, and beat Arizona for the 6th straight time. And the Colorado Avalanche, one of my 2 best bets. The other one was Florida, so that one was pure crap. The Avalanche one went perfect, exactly how I expected it. And they won in regulation time, which was what the bet was. And we move on. It was a small, profitable day in the NHL, so I'm not happy about that. But if I'm upset about having a small, profitable day, imagine how I feel when I have a losing day. Before we get to Buster, I want to throw a stat up or something up. This is, if we have it ready, this is the race for the number 1 draft pick. Now, of course, if you finish with the worst possible record, you don't automatically get the first pick in the draft. It's not like other drafts, but you have the best percentage. And if you look at the points for these teams, it really is a 4-way race for those top 3 spots: Chicago, Anaheim, Columbus, and San Jose. And all I want to say is this. these are the teams you need to be fading in the second half or in the last 2 weeks of this NHL season. Now I get it; they're going to be plus 300s. The teams that they're facing are going to be minus 400s. Find other ways. Look at these teams. Look at how many goals they're allowing. Look at team totals for the other teams. Look at puck lines that aren't heavily juiced. Look even at first period plays. But there is money to be made fading these teams because you want to finish in the top 2 spots, which are currently held by San Jose and Columbus Blue Jackets, because those notoriously are where the number 1 pick gets drawn out of, is those top 2 spots, even though 3 and 4 are just percentage points away from one of those spots. So take heed, because this is what is going to happen. And I still stand to what I said yesterday on yesterday's show, which is some of these teams late in the season, these last 2 weeks, are going to be losing games 2-1, maybe 3-1, and are not going to pull their goalies. I just don't believe that they're going to pull their goalies, because they don't want to try and tie that game up, because that 1 point could absolutely ruin it. Look at the NFL season in the last week of the season with the Houston Texans and what they did, and pretty much ruined their draft. Anyways, with that said, I've aired my grievances on Festivus. Welcome to the show, Buster. Fresh back from Las Vegas.
Well, thank you, Carmine. Much appreciated. I will not air any grievances because no one wants to hear that, because I have tons of them after being a week in Vegas, and it was probably the worst week I've had in 50 trips or so. I don't know how many, but lots. Anyways, glad to be back. Sorry I didn't do the show last Tuesday, but unlike yourself, Carmine, I know you will do the show when you're in Vegas at 8 in the morning. Well, I don't sometimes even show up at 8 in the morning. I'm kind of still out and about. And it's not like I go to Vegas like 40 times a year like you do, Carmine. So, you know what I mean? I go twice a year. So I try to make sure that I enjoy every bit of it. But I am back this week, and hopefully I can give everyone a few winners, or at least some analysis that will help you think about what your bets are tonight.
Awesome stuff, Buster. Looking forward to the show here, guys. We've got some good games here today. There's not just some good bettable ones, but also some really competitive ones here on the slate. Real quick, my 2 cents about that Montreal Canadiens game, Carm. You talked about that celebration. I mean, the second that I lost my Buffalo Sabres in regulation wager, I immediately go back to being a Canadiens fan. Like, my girlfriend is watching the game with me, and she's like, "Why are you not cheering for the Habs?" But that was a really cool celebration, and it's if you're a fan and you see who went out there, you're really confused as to why those guys went out there. But Pizzetta scores in the shootout, and they win it. We are getting the message now. It's time for the games. All right, Bruins at TD Garden playing host to the Nashville Predators. Boston minus 320, Nashville plus 260, puck line minus 1.5. You're laying it there minus 125 from the price for that puck line, and the total is at 6 right now. Carm, you know, I've gotten a lot of shit, I guess I'll say, for talking smack about this Predators team. You know, saying that they're mid, they're never going to get better, they're always the same team. And here's one thing about the Nashville Predators is that they won't go away. They will not go away. They refuse to kind of just, you know, I guess the word to be used, to tank, right? They refuse to be a team that will go away and you know, kind of just fold. And this is kind of a spot where you look at the Boston Bruins and you say, they'll beat anybody. They'll beat the bottom feeders. They'll show up against top teams. But I will say this. The Boston Bruins have had some tough matchups recently, been playing some tough games, and I know they find themselves at home here. I'll tell you, it's slightly shaded towards the under, and that's where I want to look. I want to stay away from the total or the side here in this one and just look for a defensive effort. I feel like that Nashville, if they have a chance of hanging around in this one, they clog up their own end, they play well defensively, and they try and limit the chances as much as they can. They got to stay out of the penalty box, but I believe we still can see a defensive effort. And I feel like a lot of that success we've seen from the Boston Bruins this year, people aren't giving enough credit to their defense. How many wins do they have by just 1 goal? How many wins do they have by a score of 3-2? and things like that, guys. They're a team that's just finding ways to win every single night, no matter who they're playing against. So I'll take under 6 here, Nashville and Boston. Carmine, Bianca, what do you have for us in this one at TD Garden?
Yeah, it's you look at it, Andrew, if you look at the first off the bat, just look at records. Nashville's away splits, home and away splits, 18 wins on the road, 18 losses on the road. The Boston Bruins, 30 wins at home, 6 losses. It's tough to get in front of a team that is 30-6 at home, but you can't lay that 350. One thing I'm going to say is before you bet this game, go onto Twitter, follow or check some of the beat reporters for the Boston Bruins to see who the lines were in the morning at the morning practice. And I say this because in spite of them winning that last game in overtime against the Carolina Hurricanes, they rested players. This is what the Bruins are doing now. They are now going to begin to give some players the night off. They gave Bergeron, this was players missing and players injured. Bergeron, Marchand, and Lindholm did not play against Carolina. Hall and Foligno were injured. So there's 5 guys that were not in the lineup in that game. Now, do they play tonight? They got that day off. They probably play this one and then get another day off. But they are going to manage the minutes of their players. They're not going to give them 4 or 5 games in a row off because they don't want these guys going into the first round of the playoffs having not played a significant game. But they are going to rest players along the way now for their remaining. What do they have left in this season? The Boston Bruins have 9 games left this season, and I'm telling you, it is not the last game you're going to see where Bergeron, Marchand, and Lindholm do not play. So are they in the lineup tonight? I would assume so, but you could very easily see guys like DeBrusk and Pasternak, other guys out of the lineup tonight. This is what you have to keep an eye on before you decide to lay such a huge price on the Boston Bruins. I'm going to go the other way. No matter who is in the lineup, and they're not going to rest all of their stars, but I believe Bergeron and Marchand and Lindholm will be in there tonight. I like the team total here for the Bruins. It is at minus 150 now. That is going to go up. I will tell you right now that is going to go up because the team totals always go up during the day. It's at minus 150 right now on over 3.5, and that's where I'm going on this one. Bruins team total. Don Buster, you just give us your thoughts.
Well, Carmine, you're usually always picking very good games, but the other 3 games you've picked this for today, fantastic. Best games on the slate. Not sure. This is about as ugly as it gets to put on here, but again, I kind of have an idea why you did it, but that's fine. I will talk about just what you said. How good is this Boston team? It's unbelievable. They set Bergeron and Marchand, and they still beat Carolina in overtime. That's crazy. And the problem here for Nashville, I know they have a slight chance to make the playoffs because they've got those games in hand on Winnipeg, but they've got a super nasty schedule coming up, so just real tough schedule. So I don't really think they have much of a chance because of the schedule. There's going to be a team I'm going to talk about later in the show that because of their schedule, they might have a chance being behind. But Nashville's 2-9 the last 11 in Boston, and Nashville's played like crap. They're like, for a team that's trying to make the playoffs, whether they are or not, might be another story. They've only won 2 games of the last 7. But like you said, Carmine, can't lay 325. I'm not even going to lay the puck line. I think it's 140. Geez, that's because, again, going back to what you said, Carmine, with these teams, you don't know what they're going to do, right? Are they going to, maybe a bunch of other guys sit out tonight? Bergeron plays, Marchand plays. And if that's the case, maybe Nashville plus 1.5 might be a good play because you're getting plus money. I don't know. Truthfully, I want no part of this side here. Not at all. I am going to stick with Brother Andrew. I like the game under 6 myself. The under has been 5-0-1 the last 6 for Boston. But the problem is the over between these clubs has been 4-0. However, I really think, like Andrew does, the only way Nashville even has a chance to keep this close is to play a defensive game. They have done it a couple times recently. They beat somebody 2-0. It just slips my mind right now lately. they have to hope that they get some really good goaltending. Hope that Boston maybe sits out a few guys, and who knows, maybe they can hang around. But truthfully, I lean under. Don't think it's going to make my card. Looking forward to talking about the next 3 games.
Yeah, and Buster, and I'm going to go to Andrew next on this. The 4 games we're discussing is the only 4 games on the card where every team in action tonight is either in the playoffs or has a chance to make in the playoffs. So playoff races obviously are what we want to focus on. Andrew, when I talk about players resting, and I start to think about the fact that they rested the players for a game that was in Carolina. Do you think, before we move on to the second game, do you think the Bruins are better off everyone plays in their home games and they rest players for these road games and just don't put them in the lineup? Because I would think that they're, whether they rest maybe 1 or 2, they're going to have a full lineup at home tonight and possibly rest them, with 9 games remaining in some of their road contests more so than the home ones.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think the Boston Bruins are going to be like the Philadelphia 76ers with Joel Embiid and let him sit out when hard-earned money is getting put into tickets for these fans. I mean, I think that's how it goes, though. All jokes aside, I think the Bruins are they're gonna play their starters at home, and on the road they might take it a little bit easier. And let's be honest here, guys. All jokes aside, I mean, these are the types of teams that, to me, it's. You understand the load management. I'm not really a fan of it in general, but when you look at it, this is an older team, and it would really look bad on the coaching staff and everybody involved if, Marchand and Bergeron play the rest of the season. One of them gets nicked up or injured, and they can't start that game 1 of the playoffs. It would be a horrible look for a team that's been the clear-cut number 1 team in the league all year long. But like you said, Carmen, you got to pick your spots with this stuff. You don't want a guy to go into a playoff rusty. You don't want to have fans showing up to an arena saying, why did I pay $500 and where are my players that I came here to see? So it's a little bit of a different story, but I think that the road games, it definitely makes the most sense. But I know we've got to get to the next game, but I got to mention this. We will probably get better prices when these guys aren't in. So it's kind of like betting on a good team when the backup goalie was in. Back in the day, that used to be a really good bet. I feel like that, guys, as much as we want to focus on this, don't read too much into it, because this team is still a good team without 1 or 2 key players, right? So you might lose 20 cents of juice and go from a 175 to a 155, and it'd be completely worth it, even though that star player is out.
Yeah, and listen, and we have to move on, but clearly nobody has an issue with possibly anybody sitting out, because the line opened at 280. It's at 350 now. It's all Bruins money coming in, and whether that's just a fade of the Predators or because the Bruins are just that good at home and just that good overall, is probably fueling that. But we got a much tighter game to discuss now.
Let's not waste any time. We're going to go to Buster right away with this one. He said he's looking forward to it. So let's go right to him and see what he has for us with the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Carolina Hurricanes. Carolina minus 135, Tampa plus 115. Total at 6 here, shaded towards the under just a little bit. Puck line minus 1.5. That is plus 180. Buster, I'll just say this, man. It has been so impressive to watch this Hurricanes team and what they're able to do defensively. I mean, they've got offensive players, but what they're able to do defensively and the amount of times they frustrate their opponent, it's really fun to watch. I mean, I know people like high-scoring games, but what this Hurricanes team can do to you defensively has been a masterclass to watch all year long. What do you have for us in this matchup?
Yeah, Andrew, you're right. I was kind of shocked when I found out that those guys weren't going to play for Buffalo, and then for Boston, and then they walk in and beat Carolina anyways. It was almost like I watched the game, and it was almost like Carolina thought, oh, they're not playing half their guys. We'll win this easy. And they didn't really show up they were down 3-1. They had kind of woke up in that third period, and then they lose in the coin flip of overtime. But actually, I think it was a shootout, and they lost. But I'm going to be on Carolina here. Especially after that loss to Boston, I think Carolina says to themselves, hey, we can't have those kind of things happen. They have beat this Tampa Bay club twice this season, 6-0 and 4-3. And the big key here is Carolina's still in a battle with New Jersey for that first spot in the Metro. While Tampa Bay, it almost seems that they've just resigned themselves to the fact that they'll play Toronto in that best of 7 with Toronto with the home ice advantage. You could almost see it. They've lost 4 straight games. Cooper doesn't even seem to be all too pissed off about things either, which is not like him. And I'm not too sure how much they play going down the stretch. You might start seeing them do the same thing as Boston does with a few of their guys going down the stretch. This might be a game and Carmine that was a good point, Carmine, that you made about these teams like Boston, Tampa Bay. Maybe Tampa Bay gets up for every home game, and then on the road they kind of maybe even just throw it in. I don't know. But you can just tell they're just not that team, but they're going to be that team come playoff time. It's going to be a great series with Toronto. As far as the total here, 6 seems to be the right price, the right number to me. The under's 15-4-1 the last 20 between these clubs. So that's tells me something that maybe like you were talking about, Andrew, with Carolina playing defense like that. Maybe Carolina wins 3-1, 4-1 tonight, something like that. In Carolina recently, 4-0-1 to the under. So that's another, if you like it under. I kind of do lean to the under here, the under 6. Although, as we've talked about for probably the last month, it tends to this league has been really pushing the overs and really pulling the goaltenders. I know Carmine had some comments about pulling goaltenders. That would be interesting to see. I think he's onto something there with these teams that are trying to win the lottery. But in a game like this, the only reason I don't, because both these teams have been trending over the last 2 weeks. So that kind of puts me off those leans. But to me, that would be the only way to go is to lean on the under. But I really like Carolina in this one. I really like Carolina to win this. And the price seems to be right at 135. So give me Carolina to win here.
Yeah, that's really the thing, guys. And I've been trying to make that point that, of course, home ice advantage is something that matters. But like you said, Buster, when you look at a team like Tampa that really hasn't been competing for much over the past few weeks, you can kind of see it with them. Even their game against the Boston Bruins, they were out there pretty much to just stir up the pot. I mean, I think they cared more about laying hits and messing around after the whistle than they actually did scoring goals and winning the game. Carm, what do you think here? This Carolina Hurricanes team does not seem like they're really going to take their foot off the gas pedal, but Tampa seems to always get up for this game against them.
Yeah, they do. Listen, a few days ago, Andrew, I never mentioned this because I thought there would be a better time to mention this, but I'm driving and I'm listening to this to the Fan 590, a place that I worked at one point, and the guy says, he makes a comment on this call-in show, the guy, and it was one of the dumbest takes I've ever heard. So I call in and I say something to him. And literally, they cut me off. They literally hung up on me, and the comment from them was, he says, the Tampa Bay Lightning have completely given up. They're playing absolutely horrible. They are done. The Leafs are going to beat them quite easily in the first round of the playoffs because they had lost 4 straight games. Because Tampa lost 4 straight games. My point was, and I've talked about it on the show many times, I said to him, have you gone back and researched the last 3 years for the Tampa Bay Lightning, the last month of the season? The last month before they won 2 Stanley Cups and were runners-up in the other ones to the Colorado Avalanche. And tell me if they played 500 hockey in the last month of the season. And it was just click. Right? Literally, I called them out and I got hung up on. And this is my point is, yes, Tampa Bay has lost 4 games. They lost to the Bruins, the Sens, the Canadiens, and the Devils. But if you think this team is done, just look at their record the last 4 years. They know who they're playing in the first round. Like Buster said, they know they're playing the Leafs. They were able to finish with the number 3 seed last year and win Game 7 in Toronto. And they won, I think, 2 games in Toronto in that series. So this team has been to the Stanley Cup 3 straight years. They know how to win on the road. I don't think they're really concerned about it. And Cooper is going to manage the minutes for his team. So, yes, the last few games they would like to go in on a run, but they know what needs to be done once the playoffs start. So you can't be really worried about them. You look at tonight, if it's Kochkov in goal for Carolina, I'm looking at another team total. I'm looking at Tampa because I think Tampa could bounce back tonight and win this game. But more so, you can get the team total Tampa over 2.5 minus 140. Kochkov, his last 8 games, has allowed 3 or more goals in 7 of 8 games. The only game where he allowed less than 3 goals was a 1-0 shutout against the Philadelphia Flyers. Give me the Tampa Bay team total over 2.5 minus 140.
All right, team total look there for Carmine. And guys, we need a lot of things to go right for us now in this game. So we need Tampa Bay to hit that team total. We need Carolina to still somehow win the game for Buster while Carmine hits his team total. And I need Tampa to win the first period. So we got a lot of different bets going on here in this game between all three of us here. But I'm taking the first period with this Tampa Bay team. I don't know if I can trust them for a full game. But I look at the schedule that Carolina has gone through, and they've really gone through the ringer recently. I mean, playing Boston in a tight one, Toronto, New York back-to-back. Both those games were 1-goal games. Against Philadelphia even, that was a 1-goal game. They've been playing some really, really tough matchups. I would feel a lot stronger about this lean towards Tampa if they were at home and not on the road. But I really do like the first period play as an official bet here on the show for Tampa Bay to get out there, get a good start. I really feel like that team will be frustrated with how they've played recently. And I know I gave credit off the top here about the great defensive ability of Carolina. But I think Tampa Bay can get off to a good start here, win the first period, and hopefully I can cash a ticket within 20 minutes. That's my plan here for this game. I don't do a lot of these, especially the money lines. Usually whenever we talk about these first period plays, we're talking about them because we're trying to get a minus a half goal and get a better price. But I think in this one, I just hope that Tampa Bay can come out with a good start. I don't know about the rest of the game, but I'll take the first period here. Yeah. How about the LA Kings and the Calgary Flames? Carm, this LA Kings team, I keep talking about them. They were 30-1. They were 22-1. The odds continue to go down on them to win the Stanley Cup, not just to win their conference, but the Cup. Plus 115 against the Calgary Flames, minus 135. Now, you want to talk about a team that gets more attention, that gets talked about more, that probably has more players that are talked about in the media. Probably all of those things are the Calgary Flames. I know I'm Canadian. I hear more about the Flames, but this is an LA Kings team that continues to slide under the radar. In the game they played against the St. Louis Blues, that was a game that could have been a flat spot, could have been a bad spot for them. And they came off to a huge start. What was it? 5-1 after the first period. The game got a bit dicey in the third period, but this is a team that is so deep, playing good hockey, and yet we find themselves in an underdog position tonight. What do you think, Carm? Flames and Kings.
Well, they're the only reason I can see that the LA Kings are a dog. The only reason I can see why they're a dog is because the books assume people are going to bet on the Calgary Flames because the Calgary Flames need to win the game in order to make the playoffs or to be in a better position to make the playoffs. Calgary currently sits, where are we at here? 9th, 4 points back of Winnipeg, 7 points back of Seattle. So I think we can rule out the Seattle one. And they both have 4 games left. So they figure this is a game at home where they're going to win. It's not the way it goes. You look at the Kings, they have not lost a game in regulation since making that trade for Jonas Korpisalo. He's likely being net tonight. He's 4-0-1 with them. I think they are 11-0-2 their last 13 games, somewhere around that. They're playing some fantastic hockey. And even in that last game against the St. Louis Blues, they got off to a 5-1 start. The Blues battled back. The game was tied at 5, and they eventually win 7-6. The bottom line is, start to finish, they had the lead. They played well. They gave up some. They gave a little bit back, but they ended up winning, which is what they've been doing. They found a way to win. And this team is sitting 2 points out of the top spot behind the Vegas Golden Knights for the top spot in the West. Let's give them credit where credit is due. Markstrom in goal tonight. who knows which Markstrom's going to show up tonight. I'm telling you, I understand the books making this lineup at 135, and maybe they priced it where people say, wow, okay, Calgary in a spot where they've got to win the game, and then they're only minus 135. They're a play. Can they win? Of course, they're at home. Will they win? I have no clue. I would rather take the plus money with LA. I'd rather go with a proven commodity, and that's what they are right now. They're a team that just isn't losing games, finding ways to win, and I'll go with that. If the Flames somehow surprise them at home tonight, and it's not really a surprise when you're a favorite at home, but the way the Kings are playing right now, I would rather ride with the hot team. So it's the LA Kings for me at plus money. Buster, are we on the same side here?
Well, Carmine, the side is very tough. I'm with you. I believe LA is a live dog, but Calgary is very desperate for the win here, and Calgary is in one of those positions where LA just took them right to the woodshed, beat them 8-2 on March 20th. That's pretty fresh in the minds of Calgary. Not sure if they can do anything about it, to tell you the truth, but they are a better team at home. I know there's, it's been a total disappointing season for this Flames. They have so much potential. Not too sure what's going on there. But, and it's a small but if they can win tonight somehow, it's possible. I know they're 4 points back, but it's very possible that they can really, if they could get on a roll that they haven't done all year, mind you, but if they can be the team that they were supposed to be, they could easily win out. Look who they have. They've got Vancouver twice, Anaheim, Chicago, San Jose, Nashville, and they've got that Winnipeg game, which would be a 4-point swing. So there's huge incentive for Calgary to, really, if they can win this game tonight, they still have I think we might be talking 2-3 weeks from now going, how the hell did the Flames make the playoffs? But they have to win tonight, I think. They lose tonight, that might send them the momentum totally straight down. Because they've only won three of the last 7 games. Bottom line to me, I'm with you, Carmine. The eye test tells me LA has been they've been really, really good. Like that bottom line. They've been playing great hockey. And like you say, they've won, they only lost, 2 games and maybe in a shootout. So like you said, in regulation, they haven't lost for a long time. So I know they've been at home for a while, but coming on the road, maybe give Calgary a chance. After all that analysis, my point being is that I want no part of that side. That's for sure. As a Canadian, maybe I want Calgary to win just to see if they can go on a nice run. What I do want is the over. This line was 6.5 this morning. Now it's to 6. Well, the over is 9-2 in the LA's last 11 road games, and Calgary has gone over 5 of their last 7 games. All 3 games this year, over 6-5, 4-3, 8-2. I always say 6 is very easy to get to in the NHL. And talking about pulling their goaltender, if Calgary's down 3-2, that'll turn 5-2 in a heartbeat. So I'm passing the side. Slight cheering for Calgary as a hockey fan, but I like the over.
All right, Andrew, before I go to you, because I want to talk to you about the total as well, too. You look at the standings here, and, like I said, they're 4 points right now back of the Winnipeg Jets. So here's the importance of a game like this. And again, I'm not going to bet based on the importance of the game to the Calgary Flames, but they have 8 games left. If they lose this game to the LA Kings in regulation time, they are 4 points back, and they will have, 7 games left in the NHL season. Winnipeg plays San Jose twice and the Detroit Red Wings once. So let's assume they win those 3 games, 6 points plus the 4 is 10. Calgary has to go 5-2 their remaining 7 games just to tie Winnipeg, assuming Winnipeg picks up no more points. And likely they're going to have to go 7-0 because Winnipeg's going to pick up a point along the way if they lose tonight's game. This is why Maybe the line is where it's at right now, but this is why I still think this 4 points is going to be tough, even with Calgary's schedule to make up. But I want to talk to you about the total in this game. What do you think of the total in this one?
Well, at the start of the year, we had a Calgary Flames team that everyone thought was a defensive beast. I mean, a team that would make it very hard for their opponent to get into their offensive zone, for them to really create chances, for them to be a good power play team. Calgary was said to be this defensive team that would be able to stop a lot of teams. Well, they've now gone over the total in 5 of their last 7 games. And in those games, like Buster mentioned, it's either them doing the scoring or it's their opponent, but somebody is putting up big numbers. You know, like I said, you saw 5 goals for them against San Jose, 5 against Anaheim. But the last time they played LA, gave up 8 goals, gave up 6 goals to Dallas. You know, then they go ahead and score 7 against the Vegas Golden Knights. The LA Kings right now, I said it, they're a deep team without that many superstars. They score 7 against St. Louis, 4 against Winnipeg, 8 against Calgary the last time out, like I mentioned. This is a team, to me, that I think has a lot of different goal scorers. And if Calgary wants to hang with them, they're not going to be able to do it in a low-scoring game. I always say this. The best team dictates the total. The better team dictates the tempo of the game. LA, to me, even though they're underdogs, they are the better team. This game goes up and over, I think. LA, they've gone over in, what was the number here? 9 of their last 11 games on the road, and I feel this game is going to be very similar. I'm still waiting for LA to kind of bend. I'm still waiting for them to kind of have an off game, but even last game, they collapsed late, give up a bunch of goals, and they still end up coming out with the victory. So I'll take the over 6. Like Buster mentioned, I believe this one should be a 6.5, and we'll capitalize on it tonight with the over in the LA Kings and the Calgary Flames game here. Should be a good one to watch as far as viewing goes, but I'm going to go for some goals here with the over 6. All right, guys, one last game to get into. We'll be very quick with our best bets here. We've got the Oilers and Vegas Golden Knights here. What do you think, Buster, in this one? The Oilers' schedule's been pretty light lately. Now they got a big matchup against Vegas tonight. What do you think in this one?
Well, I'm not sure how light they've been, Andrew. They're going to be playing that dreaded 3rd game in 4 nights for Edmonton. And these 2 clubs just played on Saturday. Vegas won in overtime, as we all know who watched. Vegas had a bunch of injuries. They still do, but I think Martinez comes back tonight. Problem is, I just think it's a really, really bad spot for Edmonton here. And they got something last night that they didn't expect. They got a really tough game from Arizona, like a real tough game. So, you know, they scored late to win that one. Edmonton has been playing some great hockey. They've won 8 of their last 10. But Vegas playing some great hockey themselves. They've won 11 of their last 13. And Vegas seems like they have that something. It doesn't matter if they have a lot of injuries. The team's going to be really good once they get guys like Stone in that back. Hopefully he can come back. All 3 games, as far as the total, all went to 4-3. The line 7. That's probably where it should be, obviously. 4-3 on all of them. So as far as for the total, I want no part of that. Although I'll give some trends here on it. Edmonton are 21-6 last 27 on the road to the over. Vegas are 4-0 last 4 at home to the over. That's probably why you see a 7. That might be a lot of scoring. Give me Vegas here at even money at home. That's too hard to turn up, especially with Edmonton in that dreaded 3rd game in 4 nights and a tough game last night in Arizona.
Real quick, Buster, I just want to say that I wasn't saying their schedule hasn't been busy, more so been light as in playing Arizona twice and San Jose once. Yeah. Light as in kind of their opponents. So, yeah, I get it. They've been very busy, but busy against really not the best opponents, I guess I'll put it that way.
You know what, Andrew? That might hurt them here again tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. Carm, what do you think here? Are you on the home team or taking the road favorite?
Listen, it wouldn't surprise me one bit if the Edmonton Oilers go into Vegas. Listen, yeah, they had a tough game, but Arizona was going into that game was 6-0-2 their prior 8 games at home. A lot of teams go into that Mullet Arena and don't come away with any points in that game. We saw what the sort of the same thing with the Colorado Avalanche. So it is that arena. It was probably 60 to 70% Edmonton Oilers fans in that arena yesterday as well too. A home game for them, similar to the Buffalo Sabres game. That was a home game for Montreal. There's so many Habs fans in that game. Andrew, in this one, it was Campbell in that game, Skinner in this one. Obviously, I'd rather have Skinner in goal against the Vegas Golden Knights than I would Jack Campbell. So it's good on, from that end. The ironic thing, and I'm going to throw this out, somebody in the chat said, instead of a pizza bet, can you throw out like a taco bet? Well, tacos are like 99 cents. So this is not a bad one to put onto this one. All three games between these teams this year has finished 4-3 for somebody. If you bet a 4-3 for either team, it is plus 1,100. So if that game ends 4-3 again tonight, you're getting 11-1 on your money. That's 11 tacos. So that's not bad, I guess. But with that said, it wouldn't surprise me if the Oilers go in there and win. And I think we're going to see a similar game. I think we get at least 6 goals, maybe 7. You can look at the team total, but I'm going to go against the Vegas Golden Knights. I'm going against the number 1 team in the West, and I'm going to take. This is the Oilers' last chance, last kick at the can, if they have any hope whatsoever of catching the Vegas Golden Knights for the Pacific title. Vegas is 5 points in front of them right now. Vegas has a game in hand, so they can pull within 3, but Vegas are still favorites to win that Pacific. So at least as far as the Edmonton Oilers are concerned. So I'm going to take the Oilers here at this price.
Guys, real quick, another first period play for me. I'm going to go with the Vegas Golden Knights in the first period on the money line. That's like minus 110. Pretty sure it's pretty much a pick as far as the first period's concerned. I know that Vegas took down Edmonton in the last meeting, but like I said, Edmonton has been, struggling against Coyotes and the Sharks and playing some really tight games against teams they probably shouldn't be in those games against. And you're going to get a very hungry Vegas team at home, ready to try and repeat that performance they had the last time out against the Oils. So give me Vegas, but I'll take them in the first period on the money line here. Let's jump right into best bets, guys. Got to be quick with these ones. Carm, I'll go right to you. What you have going tonight and what your best bet is for the show today.
Yeah, some soccer plays up at Wager Talk. We had a really good day yesterday, 3-0-1 in soccer, 3-2 in NHL for a profitable day overall. So grab the 1 day all access. I'm going to have a few NHL plays, but already a 5% play loaded and some soccer plays. The first one goes off at 12 o'clock. So if you miss that one, the 1 day all access will get them all for you as well too. My best bet, I'm going to go to something similar to what I did yesterday, where I took the Edmonton Oilers in the first period, minus a half at even money. The New York Rangers tonight, same price, minus a half, even money, first period. Columbus Blue Jackets are obviously, they are where they are at the bottom of the standings because they're not a very good team, and they have goaltending issues and some injury problems from that last game where they lost to Montreal. Merzlikins got injured, had to leave that game. They called up John Gillis. It looks like it's going to be Hutchinson tonight in goal with Gillis backing him up because Merzlikins, as of last night, was listed as day-to-day. So I'm going to take the Rangers to get off to a good start. They are only 4 points back, 7 points back, of the Carolina Hurricanes for that top spot, 4 points back in New Jersey for the number 2 seed in the Metro. So that's my show best bet. Buster, what do you got?
Carmine, love that play. I already made that bet myself. Very good, very good. $2 Tuesday at Sports Memo and at Wager Talk. Go over to Sports Memo. You can get 3 cappers for $5. What we have going over, we went a weird night last night for us, probably first time in maybe 30, 40 years. Won 2 games and pushed 3 games last night. So I'll take that every night if I could get it, though, for sure. Go over to our site at Sports Memo. We have an NHL college basketball best bet double play going tonight. We've been really good with our NHL best bets. I think we're like 12-5 last 17. So go over to Sports Memo, check that out. Our show best bet today will be Dallas, Chicago, over 5.5, minus the 120. There's that old saying in boxing, people that are boxing fans, that styles make fights. Well, that applies to the NHL a lot as well. And these two teams, when they get together, the style is let's play some wide open hockey and let's play some overs. Already this season, they've played 3 games, 6-4, 4-3, 5-2. The over is actually 11-1 last 12 between these clubs. I always said it early this show, say it again. We'll say it probably a lot of times until the playoffs start. But 6 is a very easy number to get to in this year's NHL for sure. But it always has been. Give us this game over. Dallas, Chicago over 5.5. And as always, best of luck, everyone, with your plays, and have a great day.
Great seeing you, Buster. Best luck tonight, man. I cannot wait to talk playoff hockey with you. It's almost here. It's around the corner. But let's keep building those bankrolls as we approach the playoffs, guys. Don't forget about that special I mentioned off the top of the show, the buy one, get one special. Carmine and I teamed up together, get the rest of our regular season plus the playoffs, get both of us in one package. My best bet for today, I'm going to go with the over. We're talking about the Calgary Flames here and the LA Kings, 2 teams that are giving up goals, but also scoring goals as well. I do not think the Calgary Flames can defend the LA Kings, but it's a big spot for them. I think we see lots of goals and a very entertaining matchup between those 2 clubs. That's my best bet here for the show. Carmine has Rangers first period -0.5. Don Buster, Dallas, Chicago over 5.5. And that's it for Puck Time here today on a Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow for another episode of Puck Time.
If you love $9 Monday and $2 Tuesday, you're really going to appreciate our new Throwback Thursday when all daily packages are slashed in half. Yes, you heard right. At both wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com, all Thursday daily packages are now 50% off. This means that a 4% package will be only $12.50. A 5% top-rated play, normally priced at $35, will be only $17.50. And the hottest sales item of the day, get a full day of access from the handicappers of your choice. That's 1 day of every applicable play they release, including any 5% best bets, normally priced at $39, for only $19.50. The best part is you can come back every Thursday to take advantage of this limited time 50% off spring off.